Today we are reading Earthquakes by Seymour Simon, pages 4 through 9. The earth beneath our feet usually feels solid and firm, yet 1,000,000 times each year, an average of once every 30 seconds, somewhere around the world, the ground shakes and sways. We call this an earthquake. Most earthquakes are too small to be noticed by people. Only sensitive scientific instruments record their passage. But hundreds of earthquakes every year are strong enough to change the face of the land. A large earthquake in Kobe, Japan, in 1995, toppled this freeway onto its side and cracked the roadway in numerous places. This picture is an example of the enormous destruction an earthquake can cause in a heavily populated area. On the morning of September 19th, 1985, a major earthquake struck Mexico City. It killed 10,000 people and injured another 20,000. Hundreds of buildings were destroyed, including homes and stores, hotels and hospitals, and schools and businesses. This multi-level parking garage, in the center right of the picture, collapsed like a house of cards, while some of the neighboring buildings suffered only slight damage. Now that we're halfway through our reading, I want to go ahead and pause and have us check our understanding. So you're going to work with the partner facing you, and I want one of the partners to say 2 things you've learned about earthquakes so far in our reading. So go ahead and pause the video and discuss this for 30 seconds with your partner. Alright, we're going to continue reading on page 8. Most earthquakes take place in Earth's crust, a 5 to 30 mile deep layer of rocks that covers our planet. Cracks in the rocks, called faults, run through the crust. In one type of fault, called a strike-slip fault, the rocks on one side of the fault try to move past the rocks on the other side, causing energy to build up. For years, friction will hold the rocks in place. But finally, like a stretched rubber band, the rocks suddenly snap past each other. The place where this happens is called the focus of an earthquake. From the focus, the energy of the earthquake speeds outward through the surrounding rocks in all directions. The shocks may last for less than a second for a small earthquake to several minutes for a major one. Weaker shocks, called aftershocks, can follow an earthquake on and off for days or weeks. Sections of the crust have slipped past each other along 2 strike-slip faults and offset this ridge in Wyoming, in the picture below on the left, and sometimes one side of a fault will slip up over the other. This is what happened along this highway in the Mojave Desert of California, which is the picture on the right below. This kind of upward movement is called a thrust fault. Now that we've finished our reading for today, I want you to turn back to your partner that you're facing, and the person who didn't talk before, I want you to tell your partner the difference between a strike-slip fault and a thrust fault.